Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland. Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
I'm just so used to barfing right now.
I am ashamed to live in this world.
I am Nadella.
I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hi.
And we are here to talk all things tech, you guys. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, dear listener, I do apologize. I am feeling a little under the weather, so when you hear this, that's probably why my voice sounds even worse than normal. So I do apologize. But other than that, we'll go ahead and we'll get into it. Let's go ahead and we'll start with Landon. I hear he's got a couple things to talk about.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Landon. Take it away.
All right. I have no Google News this week because it's the end of March, and that makes sense. But OnePlus, they did have an event-ish type thing this past week. They announced the OnePlus 9 and the OnePlus 9 Pro. So we can talk about these phones a little bit. I want to start off with the 9 Pro, going through the specs on this thing. It has the Snapdragon 888. It comes in either 8 or 12 gig varieties of RAM. Also with 128 or 256 gigs of storage. It has a 6.7-inch 1440p display with 120 hertz refresh rate, which is nice to see. And that is an adaptive refresh rate that you can get anywhere from 1 to 120 hertz. So that's quite nice to see.
Very much so.
It has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery with warp charging with a 65-watt wired charge. And it also has a 50-watt wireless charge. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
So their 65-watt charger can get this thing from 0 to 100 in like 26 minutes or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Charging this fast.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's scary a little bit because like that much energy moving that quickly is going to generate a bunch of heat, especially wireless charging.
Right. Well, you can only do the 50-watt wireless charging with their charger. And it does have a fan.
Cool.
Yes, it has a fan on it, so it keeps it cool. And also, their 65-watt wire charging. They're one of the few companies I would trust because they've been doing this long enough. They kind of know what they're doing when it comes to fast charging.
Yeah, they have, and I don't think there's much there's not really any worry that like the thing's going to burst into flames because it's going so fast.
Right.
My main concern is that when you're doing 65-watt charging on like a laptop, which is pretty common. Some of them actually will do significantly more, like up to 200 watts or more, for like gaming notebooks. But when they're charging the battery on something like that, it's, the battery's usually not charging at more than, 60 to 80 watts or something like that. And it's a much larger battery, physically. A lot more space, a lot more place for the energy to go. And the heat gets dissipated a lot better in something that size. In a phone, I would just worry about the longevity of the battery if you were doing this constantly.
Yeah.
Like if it's the sort of thing where you're periodically like, crap, I got this big thing and I need my phone fully charged. Being able to slap a 65-watt charger onto it and have it just boost up to full power in less than half an hour is great as long as it's not what you're normally doing.
Right. And that's where I think this is a bigger deal to me, because it's one of those that if it does charge that fast, you don't have to plug it in overnight. Like you could just leave your phone off the charger, and then when you wake up, when you're getting ready to go to work, you plug it in for a few minutes and you're good to go for the rest of the day. So I like that idea. Obviously, they're the only ones that are really doing something like this.
Yeah. I mean, I'd almost wonder if it would be better for your battery, long-term battery health, to have it run off of a much, much lower powered, like 15-watt wall charger for most of the time, and actually leave it plugged in overnight every night and only do the warp charge if you have to.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of thing. I don't know. These things, they have not been doing the 65-watt charging. It's just a couple of years at this point.
Yeah.
Hasn't been around long enough for us to really conclusively say how much of an impact this has on your battery health, but just based on the amount of heat that generates, it's just weird to me. Based on what I know about battery technology, it feels like this shouldn't be okay.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not the expert here. I'm not a professional. I'm sure that they have actual engineers that know way more than I do about battery technology, but based on the physics that I do know, I'm just generally kind of vaguely concerned.
Yeah.
So there you go, listener. You get my opinion on this sort of thing. I mean, that's what you're here for, presumably.
Yes.
Now, not these other two.
No,
we're not here to.
opinion.
We're not here for him. That's no. But I mean, I like this idea. It does come with that 65-watt charger in the box, which is nice.
I will say that at least is very nice.
Yes.
It'd be kind of dumb to be like, yeah, your phone can do 65-watt warp charging. By the way, here's a 15-watt charger.
That's something that Apple would do.
That is something that Apple would do, has done many times.
Actually, they do worse now because their phone can charge quite quickly with a 18 or higher watt charger, and they don't put any charger in the box.
That's true.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel like it was actually more insulting when it's all like, yeah, your phone can do 18 watts of charging. Here's a 5-watt brick. Freaking heck.
Freaking Apple.
Yeah.
Goodness. Anyways.
I'm genuinely kind of happy that they don't put those bricks in the box anymore. Like, I know a lot of people are upset about that. There's a lawsuit happening over it in Brazil right now.
Yeah.
That Apple is getting fined a bunch of money for not shipping a charger in the box.
Yeah.
But I am so glad the 5-watt brick is gone.
Oh, me too. Me too.
That thing was awful.
Yes. Waste of space, as they proved. Anyways, moving on with some of the specs here. Camera-wise, the primary sensor is a 48 megapixel sensor. It's got a 50 megapixel ultra-wide and an 8 megapixel telephoto, and then a 2 megapixel monochrome sensor for fun, because it's OnePlus and that's what they do. The front camera, surprisingly, is also a 2 megapixel. So that's
I'm sure that's
interesting.
fine.
I mean, yeah. OnePlus has never been known for their cameras in general, so why would you use their front one?
Yeah.
They do have a new partnership, though, with Hasselblad, and it's not going to be something that on these phones is really going to be noticeable yet, even though it is definitely printed on the phone that they have that partnership. But this just started a few months ago, so it's going to be something that in the next iteration of their phones actually matters. So I wouldn't put too much thought into this at the moment because it's not going to matter, even though they spent 30 minutes talking about it before they mentioned anything else on the phone for some reason. Why? I don't know. But that's OnePlus.
I mean, to be fair, it is a much better camera than anything OnePlus has had before.
True. The reviews so far have given the camera much better reviews. It's still not quite up to par with the Samsungs or the Pixels or the iPhones of the world, but it's not that far behind, not nearly as far as what it used to be anyways.
Right. For the vast majority of people, totally serviceable.
Yeah.
Will look fine when you upload it to Instagram or Twitter or whatever.
Especially when they add all the compression they do. Ugh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Software-wise, this is coming with Android 11 on board, running Oxygen OS, so that is still there. It's got an IP68 rating on this one, on the Pro. It does not have a headphone jack because that's how things go nowadays. And the starting price on this for the 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage is $969.
Yeah.
Oof. Come on, OnePlus. You were the cheap flagship killer. What happened to you?
You were the chosen one.
You were the chosen one.
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Okay, so I mean, so
Nice.
I figured I had to go with that movie quote because I've already heard you either die the flagship killer or you live long enough to see yourself become the flagship.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard that one over and over again, and I figured there had to be another movie reference that would work.
Oh, the Star Wars one is far better. Far better. Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, it is.
So there you go.
And it's true. It is so true. I mean,
Yep.
Granted, this is a full flagship phone based on these
It
specs.
is.
This is not some, like, in the past, they've had mostly flagship specs with one or two things that you would expect to be in a flagship not there. And that
Right.
would help justify the lower cost of the phone. Now, this one has all those specs. So
Yep.
that, in their mind, justifies the higher price of the phone.
Yeah.
I don't think any phone should cost this much money, but that's the world we live in today. And so there it is.
Yep. I mean, I feel like, yes, it is sad to see OnePlus doing this because OnePlus, like we said, they were the flagship killer.
Yeah.
That being said, the phone is what you would expect to be getting for this price.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're paying $1,000 for a phone, you expect it to have fancy cameras, good charging, great screen, like, you know, all of this stuff. It's got all the stuff you expect from $1,000 phone. Really nice design, premium feel. It isn't the flagship killer anymore. It's just,
Yeah.
it's a flagship.
Yeah. All right. Now moving on to the OnePlus 9. This also has a lot of very similar specs. It's got the Snapdragon 888, 8 or 12 gigs of RAM, 128 or 256 gigs of storage. This one has a 6.55-inch OLED 2400 by 1080p, 120 hertz refresh rate display. So I don't think this one has the adaptive refresh rate like the other one. That's kind of where they're going to save some money there. This also has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery. It does have the 65 watt warp charging, and also comes with that in the box. This one does not have the 50 watt wireless charging though. It will do 15 watt Qi wireless charging, just your standard normal wireless charging. And that's how, I mean, the Pro also does this. If you have a normal wireless charger, it'll just do 15 watts. Again, we have to have the OnePlus branded, like their own charger to get the 50 watts wireless charging. Because again, active cooling, you're going to want that.
Yep.
Camera-wise, this has a 48 megapixel primary, a 50 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2 megapixel monochrome. So this is losing the telephoto lens. And this one has a 16 megapixel selfie camera on the front. Why this one's better on that regard, I don't know.
There's got to be something.
Maybe there's a typo on there. And
Funky
it's supposed to be a 20
going on.
megapixel on the front of the other one. I don't know. Either way,
Yeah.
front camera really doesn't matter in my opinion most of the time.
Well, I mean, you know, and let's be honest, megapixels also don't really matter that much. Like,
Accurate.
because, you know, Apple and Google are still putting 12 megapixel cameras
Yes.
on their phones, and they take the best still images in the smartphone universe.
Yes.
So,
Accurate.
yeah.
And this one, the 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage model, starts at $729. So this is definitely the more affordable version. The higher gig version is $829. So there's a $100 difference between the two different versions of this phone. Still the more affordable option, probably going to be the better seller. I would say that, I guess, but the problem is most people that are going OnePlus want the Pro model because they're generally the more tech type people that want that model of phone. So I don't know if they sell. Well, this one, I do believe they've got to deal with T-Mobile to sell these phones in stores. That's where the OnePlus 9 is going to sell in the US is inside the carrier, because people that are going online to buy phones are buying the higher end ones usually.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that will be, you know, the tech people. That'll be the us's of the world.
Yes.
And listener, that might very well be you too.
True.
I kind of have a sense that if you are listening to the podcast, then you probably are going to be more interested in the Pro model for most of the things we talk about.
Yeah.
But the 700 and odd price point, that's appealing. It's very tempting.
It's true. I mean, you look at us. I mean, I got the iPhone 12 and Caleb got the 12 mini because we
True.
didn't want to spend more money. Well, partially we didn't want to spend more money also because Caleb wanted a small phone.
I really love it. It's so great.
Now, I only would have bought the Pro Max because I want the giant freaking screen. I want that so much. Oh, every time I see one, I'm still like, oh, why did I not get that phone? And then I remember it was $300 more than the one I bought. That's why.
Yeah, that it is a big deal. So yeah, it's nice for them to have a more budget conscious flagship. But make no mistake, listener, this is still a flagship. It still has all the flagship features that you're going to want. Like, yes, it lacks a few of the things that the $1,000 phone has, but it's still every bit a flagship phone.
Yes.
It's not intended to be this is the flagship killer anymore. It's just a flagship. It's not supposed to cost $500 or $400 or $300 or whatever. This is what OnePlus is now.
Yeah,
we'll
it's true.
Hopefully see the Nord get a little bit more attention as over the next couple of years here, because that is where OnePlus is now trying to kill flagships.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're ever going to really see a true flagship killer from OnePlus again, considering that they sell flagship phones.
Yeah, and also the fact that Carl Pei, their original CEO, is no longer with the company.
True.
I think partially because of the direction that they've been going the last year or two. It's like, this isn't what I wanted, so I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yep, which is fair.
True.
It's fair.
Now, both of these phones are available now to pre-order, and they will be available in-store and online just in general on April 2nd, so later on this week. I did want to mention, though, I've been seeing some of the reviews, at least on the Pro model. I would assume the regular one is the same, but when you take a picture, it tends to show the preview of the picture like relatively quick, but it doesn't actually take the picture. So like the shutter speed on this is relatively slow, or at least like between pushing the button and actually getting the picture, because some of the things I've seen are they take the picture and then they put the phone down because they think they got it, and then they go back and look at the picture and they're looking at like their feet or the sidewalk or something. Like, oh, that's awful.
That's the kind of behavior I expect from $100 smartphones off of AliExpress, just for the record.
That you've had for 2 years.
Right.
Even right when you get those phones, they're usually a little better than that. But
no. No, they're not. That's actually one of my favorite things to do with $100 smartphones is you can actually do like the ghosting thing, where if you take a picture, like you push the shutter button and then have something in the photo that and like moves out of the way really fast, you get this really cool ghosting image where like, oh, there's this invisible thing when you can see the stuff behind it, because that's how they work. It's awful. I don't think that what the OnePlus phones are doing is that. I think what they're doing is just like the calibration between when you push the button and when it actually takes the picture are different. The picture itself is still snapping fine. It's just like a picture of your feet instead of a picture of what you were trying to take a picture of. Yeah. And hopefully that's just a software update to fix.
Yes, hopefully. So, also, I did not mention that the OnePlus 9 is IP68 rated because it is not. Not that it doesn't have the hardware. They've done this in the past where they just didn't get the certification on the phones, even though it did have the hardware to work in that scenario. Now, the OnePlus 9, when sold at T-Mobile, will be IP68 rated. But the unlocked version will not. So that's interesting.
But it's probably physically the exact same device.
More than likely. I mean, I still wouldn't be going and throwing your phone in some water with any phone. But
I was going to say,
you probably will be okay.
The phone in my pocket is IP68 rated, but I'm not going to jump in the water with it. So
Exactly. I mean, on my vacation, I was by the ocean. I had my iPhone, which is IP68 rated. I put it in a case that was waterproof because I'm not stupid. And I got some cool pictures.
It's never a bad idea just to be safe with your, $700 to $1,000 piece of technology. Just protect that investment.
All right. Now, they did announce one more thing at this event. They announced a watch. and this has been rumored for a while that OnePlus was making a watch. It's actually not bad based on the specs and what they're telling us. Again, this is what actually they're saying, and what will be the case are going to be different because that's just always how it is. So the specs on this, it's got a 1.39 inch AMOLED display on a 46 millimeter case. It's got 1 gig or 4 gigs of, 1 gig of RAM and 4 gigs of storage. So there's that. I mean, at least they've got the 1 gig of RAM, because I've noticed with most watches, if they have that, it's a much better experience than if it's lower than that. Now, this one is not running Wear OS like you would expect. This is a custom software that they made for just for their own thing. So it's going to be a little different in how it runs, which in theory is going to be better because they're claiming up to 2 weeks of battery life on this thing. Now, I'm assuming that's going to be without the GPS on, because if the GPS is on, I'd be very, very surprised if you got that much battery life out of it. They are also saying up to 1 week of battery with just a 20-minute charge on the thing, which is crazy. And also 1 day of battery with 5 minutes. So if you pull your watch out and it's almost dead, put it on the charger for a few minutes before you go to work, and you should be able to get through the day, is what they're claiming. Again, probably without GPS on.
Right.
So, I mean, most of the time, I don't need, if you're not working out on a regular basis, I don't see why you would need GPS on all the time. It's one of those things that I would turn on if I need it, but that's just me. I don't know. They have 2 different versions of this watch. So the classic edition comes in 2 different colors with midnight black and moonlight silver, and they're I want to say a stainless steel casing. I can't remember. Yeah, that's a stainless steel one. And then they have a cobalt limited edition is what they're calling it. And that comes in a cobalt alloy metal, which is going to be stronger and more durable than stainless steel. It's a little higher end. They haven't given a price on that yet, though, that I've seen. So don't know that yet. The regular version starts at $159. So not too bad for what you're getting, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty comparable with a lot of Android Wear watches. It's a little cheaper than some of the Samsung watches, definitely cheaper than the Apple Watch. They're claiming that it can do over 110 workout types, which, okay. It also has heart rate monitor, obviously. It's got different sedentary reminder. So if you've been sitting for too long, it'll say, hey, you should probably stand up, because you probably should.
Yeah.
So I think it's not a bad option. If it does all the things that they say that it can do, I'm definitely interested. I mean, I probably still won't buy one because I just bought a watch not that long ago that is more than enough for what I use a smartwatch for. I mean, I basically just get it for notifications. So I don't need all the fancy. I don't need all the fancy stuff. That's not for me. I don't work out. I mean, if you ever see me, you'll know I don't work out. So, but I like that there's more options. I'm definitely curious to see how the operating system works and how good the battery life actually is. Because if it is as good as they say it is, then
that's a huge selling point in and of itself. That's
massive. And based on the fact that it's not Wear OS, I mean, that in and of itself is going to give it more battery life, because for some reason Google has not been able to figure that out for their watches. I don't know why. But I haven't seen anything on what it will work with. So if it'll work on just any Android phone, just OnePlus's, if it'll work with iOS, I don't know yet. I haven't seen that. I don't think this has gotten into the hands of reviewers yet, so we'll have to wait on that. But at $160, this could be a pretty good deal.
Yep.
So if you are interested in a sports type watch or just a smartwatch in general, keep an eye out for this one just to see. I would look at reviews when they come available, and I think it's not a bad looking watch. I think it's pretty good looking. It does come with a standard like watch band, so it's replaced like interchangeable that way, which is nice. So I think it comes with just your regular silicone watch band that most sports watches come with. So that's not bad.
Yeah.
And that is all of my news for this week.
Good. No, not too bad. So, kind of sucks that OnePlus is turning into a regular flagship, though.
I mean, I'm not really
Yeah.
surprised by it.
Yeah, the writing has been on the wall for a couple of years with this one. This is the direction they've been trending in.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
I think the biggest thing that got OnePlus as popular as it did with people in our circles was it got most of the specs for a much lower price. And that's what people were so excited about. It was basically a Nexus phone that was not a Nexus phone. And it was, I mean, initially the original OnePlus, the OnePlus One, came with Cyanogen mod built in.
Yep.
And that was another thing. It's like, oh, this has a very popular Android mod that people are putting on their phones anyways, built in. Huh. And I remember I played with that phone for a couple weeks. That was a really cool phone. I almost bought one because it was neat. But I didn't. But because I had a Nexus at the time, I was like, I'm not going to give a Nexus up for this. But
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of the popularity with this phone. Is it was a Nexus type phone that wasn't made by Google. So like you get the same similar specs for a similar price as those type of phones, but you're not paying nearly as much as what the normal flagships are. And that's why it was so popular. But now they're not cutting any corners to give you that lower price in most cases. And they're just giving you a full-on flagship. So whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think because they're more popular, they kind of didn't necessarily have to go this route, but I think that's their justification. It's like, oh, it's more popular, so we need to try and, I don't know, better compete with the higher end. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of still wish they would have kept going the way they had been, and most people feel that way, but obviously that's not what they're wanting to do.
Nope. Oh well. I guess we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a future episode. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and move on over to Caleb. Caleb, what you got for us?
Oh, man. So, listener, you remember how we were kind of just like offhandedly joking about Apple just dropping an invitation for a press event the day before it happened last week? And how we were like, there's no way that that's going to happen and we're not actually going to get a March event from Apple? Well, guess what? We were right.
Yep.
That's what happened. So there's no March event for Apple. That did not, in fact, materialize out of nowhere.
Hey,
over the past week.
it still could happen. The 31st is a Tuesday.
Yes, the 31st is a Tuesday. So if
gosh.
if
Actually,
they do
the
it
30th
again,
is a Tuesday.
if they drop us a the 30th is Tuesday. So if they drop an invite on the 29th and they're just like, oh, random event, then yes, technically we could still have a March event. I don't see it happening. So
Yeah.
there you go. So I don't really have any Apple news or even rumors this week. Like there's just nothing to talk about on that part. That being said, Intel is a company that does exist and occasionally does things. Over the past few years, not many good things, but they do occasionally still do things. Now, you may recall, listener, a couple of weeks ago, month and a half ago, something like that, we talked about how Intel's leadership had a big shakeup and their new CEO, Pat Gelsinger, had a new direction for the company in mind. Well, sort of a new direction for the company.
It's definitely a direction.
It is a direction. Yes, he has a direction. Hopefully it is not the same as what Intel has been doing. So this past week, he hosted an online kind of roundtable thing to talk about this direction that he's got for Intel, called, what did he call it? I can't even, I don't know, man. I want to say it was something like Intel Revitalized or Intel Reborn or something dumb like that. But
are you sure it wasn't just restating the fact like Intel Inside?
If only.
That
Actually,
would have been funny.
that would have been kind of cute, and I would have really liked that. But no, it wasn't. It was something, but it was just kind of a State of the Union for Intel and just their plans going forward. A couple of kind of neat things that they announced. They announced that they're planning on investing $20 billion in new fabs in Arizona. So there was some speculation that Intel was going to start getting out of the fab business, that stop fabricating their own processors. But it seems like Pat wants to double down on that and actually invest more into their fabrication technologies, which is good because their fabrication technologies need the investment. They have been falling seriously behind Samsung and TSMC over the past couple of years. And B, it would be really nice to get all of the silicon manufacturing out of Taiwan, or at least some of it. So currently Taiwan has a massive drought happening, which is causing all of the silicon manufacturing that is happening in Taiwan to they're in red alert status. Basically, you need a lot of water to manufacture silicon processors, and they're really concerned that over the next couple of weeks they're not going to have any water. So yeah, but pray for rain for Taiwan. I guess the monsoon season is coming up fairly soon, like at the end of May. So as long as we can make it till then, we should be okay. But yeah, it's getting pretty sketch for them. But yeah, so it'll be nice to see a little bit more emphasis on processor fabrication happening outside of Taiwan. So that's kind of nice. They talked a little bit about their roadmap for processors, and we'll discuss that a bit in a moment, not associated with what Pat said, but associated with what third-party reviewers said, because third-party reviewers are your friend, listener, just for the record. Now, there is one thing that I did want to also touch on that Pat mentioned. It's called Intel Foundry Services. So basically what this is that Intel will be taking their silicon foundries and fab technologies and licensing them out, making them available to other companies to make chips based on other companies' designs. So they won't be exclusively manufacturing their own designs. They will be renting out their fab services to other companies, which would actually help with the global silicon shortage that is happening right now. So that's kind of a cool thing. It's a thing that they announced. It's a thing they're planning on doing. What interested me in particular was that he said that they were planning to court Apple as a customer, that they'd already been working with Qualcomm and with Microsoft. They were in talks to maybe produce some chips for them and also Google. And then they're all like, yeah, we want to court Apple as a customer. And I was like, weren't you just burning that bridge last week? Like with a really large, ill-informed ad campaign. So, I mean,
side note, nothing big.
I mean, probably, let's be honest. Apple is a huge company. The executives at Apple probably don't care what Intel says about them. And quite frankly, the executives at Intel probably had nothing to do with that ad campaign. So executives from one big company talking to executives from another big company have very little to do with what their marketing departments say about each other. So yeah, maybe that bridge is just scorched and not necessarily burned, but it is kind of hilarious that this is literally like less than a week after the launch of that campaign. Pat Gelsinger is all like, yeah, we want to court Apple as a customer. Like, okay. Yeah. All right, so that was the Intel event. It was, kind of neat. And like I said, they did talk about some of their roadmap. In particular, they were talking about the Meteor Lake processors that they're going to be producing on a 7-nanometer process node. That was their big news from that event. Now, after this event, some leakers were able to get their hands on the list of NDA-only documents that kind of go into more detail on Intel's roadmap, and just leaked a few of the titles from these documents, which gave us a bit more insight into what we might be seeing coming out of Intel. Now, the Intel processors that were just announced like a week and a half ago, and listener, we did not go into any detail on them, and the reason we did not is because I think they're trash. I looked at the specs. I looked at everything that they said. That's all like, here's the official launch date. Here's all the confirmed specs for all this stuff. And I looked at it and I was all like, why are you even bothering, Intel? because quite frankly, it looks like your 10th generation chips are going to be better than your Rocket Lake 11th generation chips. And as it happens, some reviewers were able to, via retail, because some of these chips are actually already for sale in the European Union, get their hands on some 11th generation Rocket Lake chips and review them. And here's possibly my favorite bit of my favorite review of the 11700K, which is an i7. Yeah, it's an i7 processor. From Gamers Nexus, the title of their review of this chip said that it was essentially a waste of sand.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah, listener, silicon is made out of the same stuff as sand, and that was their review. It performed similarly to or worse than the i7 10700K that it's replacing, and in a very, very few workloads, very few games, I should say, it managed to tie with Intel's 8-thread R7 chips, but it was not able to beat them, really, in any of them, and the vast majority of benchmarks, AMD was winning handily, to say nothing of the fact that they have chips with more cores, so you could just buy those.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the 11700K, 8-core, 16-thread chip, the i9 that is one step up from it, the 11900K, 8 cores, 16 threads. So what's the difference? We're not really sure. Now, all of that being said, the leaks that we did get about Intel's future plans seem to suggest that later this year, we're expecting an Alder Lake launch. That's the name of their next, I guess, attempt to try and claw back any performance from AMD. That one is supposed to be launching on a 10 nanometer process. Now, Rocket Lake was supposed to be a 10 nanometer design that was backported to a 14 nanometer process because Intel still can't make anything at volume in 10 nanometers, which is absurd. Like, Intel, this is getting embarrassing. Everybody else passed 10 nanometers like 3 years ago. But, they're still getting hung up on that. But this next one, Alder Lake, it's going to be the one. It's going to be the 10 nanometer process. And then in the, the event with Pat Gelsinger, he talked about Meteor Lake that's supposed to be on the 7 nanometer process. And that one is coming in 2023 is their planned launch for that. We'll see another launch between Alder Lake and Meteor Lake that will also be on the 10 nanometer process, an actual 10 nanometer process, which will mean cooler chips, more efficient chips that will better be able to compete with AMD's 7 nanometer processors. Now, this being said, Intel has said this before. They promised us 10 nanometer desktop chips in it was on their roadmap in 2017. I think they were supposed to launch in 2018. And here we are in 2021. They're still on 14 nanometers. So yeah, supposedly by the end of 2021, we're going to see 10 nanometer Intel chips. But that was the story 4 years ago too. So I don't know exactly what to tell you, listener. Hopefully Alder Lake won't be a disappointment because Rocket Lake already is. But yeah, there you go. That's what Intel did this past week. They are trying as hard as they can to stay in the news cycle, because for them at this point, even bad press is better than nothing, which is basically all they'd be getting because they're sure as heck not doing anything worthy of good press. So there you go. That is essentially all of my tech news. I got a little bit of gaming news, but there you go. Not a whole lot happening at the moment.
You know what Intel should do? If they really want to take a jab at Apple, they need to start naming all these processors after lakes in California.
That would be so much more effective than this ad campaign that they launched. That would be way better. Oh, man. Dang.
Just saying.
They should. They totally should.
That's my little 2 cents of Intel news right there.
I mean, it'd be better than what they're doing. Because, geez,
it'd at least be more entertaining.
I didn't realize that was 4 years ago that they had that roadmap. Jeez.
Yep. Yep. Like I said, I think it was on the roadmap in 2017, and it was either they were supposed to launch 10 nanometer chips in 2018 or 2019. Might have been 2019 that they were supposed to launch. But I remember the release of the roadmap that had like, oh yeah, 10 nanometer chips. We're going to hit that in, that roadmap was 2017.
I remember seeing that roadmap. Holy cow.
Yep. And it was like shortly after that we realized the TikTok cycle was broken, and we were just getting tick,
Yep.
tick, tick, just nervous tick. Intel developed a nervous tick.
Nervous tick.
And they have not gotten any help with that since.
Well, let's go ahead and let's move on a little bit. We're going to go straight into some gaming news. I do have some Microsoft news, but it kind of is more in the gaming atmosphere, kind of. We'll talk about it. The first thing that I did want to mention was we're going to talk about Microsoft renaming Xbox Live.
Again.
Now, yeah. Well, not repricing, renaming.
That's fair.
Now, a lot of people, so hopefully this doesn't confuse people. What they're doing is they are establishing the Xbox network. And so what they're going to call services that come from Xbox is going to be the Xbox network. So Xbox Live Gold will be under the Xbox network. So,
but it's still called Xbox Live Gold.
Yes, the Gold service for multiplayer service is going to be called Xbox Live Gold.
Yep.
So if you get Game Pass, it's going to be Game Pass on the Xbox network, or Xbox Live Gold on the Xbox network, things like that. With this, it to me, it kind of makes sense why they're doing it, because of all the acquisitions and all the things that they are accumulating. They are trying to make it to where, for example, how they have acquired like Bethesda. Bethesda is now going to be a part of the Xbox network, not directly under Xbox Studios. So they're going to be kind of their own side thing. So, ZeniMax, I should say. ZeniMax is not under Xbox Studios. It's going to be in the Xbox network. And so Microsoft has been trying to acquire more studios, more services, more things like that. And the big one that, dear listener, you've probably heard and probably have used this service is called Discord. The rumor has it that they've been in talks of buying Discord for $10 billion.
It's a bunch of money.
That's a lot of money. And in case you're not familiar with Discord, Discord is a very, what would you call it, Caleb?
I would call Discord the best. Discord is the best. That's just
the best what?
Just the best. It's
the best.
Nothing else needs to be said. No, so Discord is the end all be all gaming communication service. So with Discord, you can have your friends, and you can message your friends, you can chat with your friends, and all of that, just like you would with, I don't know, like your Steam friends list or your Battle.net friend list or whatever. It has all of that functionality built in. It also has the ability to create channels, and inside of those channels, you can have different rooms, different segments and stuff like that you can message in, you can have group discussions in, that has app integrations and various website integrations and stuff like that. That's all very Slack-like. So all of that is there. Yes. And then inside of those, you also have the ability to have voice chat rooms and video sharing, video chat and stuff like that. That's all integrated very much along the lines of, what Skype used to be, or like, your basic Zoom functionality. Yes. Except it's all tied to your room, your Discord channel.
Yes.
So it's basically every other messaging app that you could possibly want a piece of for your game playing needs, all wrapped into one. And you can get access to all of that stuff with a free account. Like if you have paid rooms. Like if you're paying for one of their more premium channels and stuff like that to upgrade your channel that you own, you get a lot of features and stuff like that and a lot more additional functionality. So, obviously that is a thing, and Discord makes a pretty decent business off of that, but they make available a lot of functionality that does not exist anywhere else for free, at least in one place. Does not exist anywhere else in one place. So yeah, for anybody who wants to game with friends, Discord is the best. It just is.
And I would probably say I would second that. It's a really good service. I've usually just always use Xbox Live or whatever game service I was using. I would use their chat feature.
Yeah.
Discord, I'm fairly new to it, but I could see that could be a lot of people use it for a cross multiplayer chat function. So if someone's on PC playing with a console or even a mobile phone, they get on Discord.
Yep.
Most cases.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of great functionality for, like my tabletop D&D game or group. Yes. We use Discord for voice chat for that because we're playing remotely. Partially because of the pandemic, partially because we live like 1,200 miles away from each other. It makes a difference. Yes. And so, we get on there, and obviously it's just a free thing and everybody's able to just hop on there. I'm on a Mac. We got people that are using phones, people that are using PCs can all just hop into the same group chat and do their voice chat. And then there's integrations that we can use to pipe Spotify playlists in for ambiance music and that kind of thing. So it's really great for that. If you're playing video games, then obviously you can use it, like you said, as a cross-game, cross-platform chat room for anybody that's playing, and that's really nice. So you don't have to try and juggle, especially with more crossplay happening. It's like, crap, so and so's on a Mac and so's playing on his Xbox, and we got so and so who's on a Nintendo Switch or whatever, and all he's got is his Android phone or whatever. You can all connect all those on Discord, and everybody can be chatting together. Like, that works. And if you want to stream the game to just your friends, you can do that through Discord.
Which is a feature I love.
Yeah, it's really cool. They have a lot of functionality built into it. And I can totally understand why Microsoft would want to buy Discord, because there's a lot of potential for monetization there. But the thing that kind of worries me is that Discord was created by gamers for gamers, and that's why it is so good. The potential for monetization is there, and they haven't utilized it because they don't want to ruin this wonderful service that they've got. They don't want to make it kind of toxic for gamers to use. And if Microsoft buys it, I'm just worried that toxicity is going to end up in there. Like they're going to buy it. They're going to sprinkle Teams all over my Discord, and it's going to actually sow some discord, and I'm not going to be happy. And anyways, this news concerns me.
It can be, and
it makes me nervous.
If we look at Microsoft's past with platforms that are similar to this, we were talking about it before the show. We talked about Skype, number one, obviously. And it wasn't that Skype is dead. It's just they just didn't innovate it.
Yeah. It's not good anymore.
Yeah.
and didn't they buy AIM too? I mean, AIM may very well have been AOL AIM? Instant Messenger.
I don't
one of the internet's earliest messaging platforms. If they did buy it, it was one of those things where it was dying anyways. And I want to say that they bought it and then rolled the features over into Hotmail's chat client thing, and then ended up killing that too. So I don't know.
No, which I can see the concern, but me, so when I first heard the news, me being on Xbox as much as I am, I'm not, and this is not me trying to be a fanboy or anything, but I never saw the chat feature or party feature as broken. I've never seen it that bad. I have noticed the PC side is not as user friendly. And no, Caleb, you could definitely
speak to that. It's no good. Like their system level chat functionality is totally broken. And I think that the important thing to consider there is the system level chat functionality only works on Windows PCs. You can chat with people on Xboxes. You want to get anybody from any other platforms involved? Tough luck.
Right. So I think with the gaming on the Xbox side, I think it would be okay. Now I do know that on Xboxes in the network, they have what's called clubs. I have a feeling I don't use it and it's not appealing to me at all. I don't use it, and I don't think a lot of other people use this club feature. And I think clubs is just like you were saying, it could be this channel where people can talk and you can stream and all this. And I think they have on the Xbox console side of things, I think that is very interesting for them. Like they'd be like, yeah, our clubs thing isn't working as what we want. This works a lot better. And I could see that integration. I could definitely see if like they had integration for the chat services. So like if I am on Xbox, obviously Discord's not on Xbox, but I could connect with someone to Discord. Same idea. I could see that. But on, I say Microsoft side of things, yeah, I could see some integration for Teams. Like you were saying, I don't know if they would be like Teams brings you Discord. I don't think they'd want to touch it. Like that doesn't, you know what I mean?
I hope not. I hope not. Like I hope it would be the kind of thing like Apple's purchase of Beats. Apple bought Beats. They bought Beats so that they could take their streaming music service IP and technology and just implement that directly into Apple Music. But they also got the headphone hardware business too. A headphone hardware business that makes a crap ton of money. Not because the headphones are particularly good, but because they're stylish fashion accessories and people pay a lot of money for that. Right. And you know what Apple did with the Beats stylish headphones? They just left them alone. They were just like, cool, Beats, keep doing your thing. We're taking this software. You do what you do. And
I'm hoping that's what they do.
Hopefully that's what Microsoft does. I just like the moment that I boot up Discord and it throws me a Bing ad, I'm going to be really pissed.
Although I've had Discord, what was it, Nitro? Is that what it's called? Their paid thing for free just because I'm a Game Pass subscriber. Like they're like, here's 3 months. And then in 2 months, they're like, here's another 3 months. And then here's another 3. So I haven't paid for it, but they give me that. So they have some sort of partnership there. Anyway, moving on. I can also see on Microsoft even higher level for the Azure side. I know that Discord is on Google services, on the Google servers and things. If they were to buy that and bring that to Azure, that's another big win on that side as well. I can see. So I can see it not just for gaming. I can see it on multiple things, but I am with you on that. Me not being affiliated with Discord as much, I could still see that being very harmful if they try to be like, just call it Xbox Live service or whatever they're going to call it in the they just need to be Discord.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying. And I agree. And I hope that what they're doing with ZeniMax, they can do with that because they're pretty much leaving it alone. Obviously, caveat there is, hey, we want it to run the best on Xbox, obviously, but cross-play, cross-platform for Bethesda. And we'll see what happens. I mean, $10 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, they've also, the rumor has been floating around that Discord is just courting Microsoft, that they're interested to see what Microsoft will offer them, what Microsoft will do with them. Yes. But they're also looking at just going public as a company themselves, at which point they would be able to get a 10 billion market capitalization almost guaranteed. So, that's also a possibility. And if Discord does that, then yes, then they're beholden to their shareholders. And so that's also problematic. Like I get that, but it's still better to me than a large company like Microsoft just taking over. I don't know. It's just, like I said, I don't necessarily hate the idea. I'm not like super against it. I'm just distantly nervous.
Well, I mean, I know this isn't Steve Ballmer or Bill Gates Microsoft, so that should help.
No, it does help.
Kill.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot. If this had been, man, like 5, 6, 7 years ago kind of Microsoft, then I would be like weeping in the streets. Just no, Discord, don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's suicide. It's suicide. But no,
Yeah.
I think this new Xbox is much friendlier and better for gamers, generally speaking. So I'm hopeful that even if they do buy it, they won't screw it up. I just am very much aware that possibility is there.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you. I agree. So let's go ahead and let's move on. And we'll talk about some indie games. Last week I mentioned that they were going to have their Twitch exclusive stream for highlighting 60 new indie games that are coming to Xbox. Most of them are coming to, I think there's like 20 of them that will, on their launch day, will come to Game Pass. And the other ones are just coming to Xbox. Big ones that people were talking about, for example, are like Art of the Rally. The Ascent is the big one. I think a lot of people were talking about. This is coming to cloud, console, and PC. And they said it's kind of like, it's a top-down version, but it's like Diablo, but with guns, but top-down and darker. And so that's the best I could describe what they were saying. But a lot of people were talking that they really like it. It's kind of like a cyberpunk world, kind of, but Diablo. So you can definitely take a look at that. There's more kind of odd ones. Like this one, what I find odd, I guess, is Boyfriend Dungeon, where you have to, it's a dungeon crawler, but you have to date your weapons to level them up. Yeah, it's different. But then there's another one called Backbone, Craftopia, Dead Static Drive, Edge of Eternity, and like I said, there's so much more. And they definitely have this online, YouTube, Twitch. You can take a look at more if you are interested in these 60 games that are coming to Xbox. And the next thing I'll talk about is Microsoft has been rolling out new controllers, or with their new controllers, they've been rolling out new colors, new schemes. The two new ones that they have introduced. The first one is the Electric Volt. It is a lime green color and black. And so if you're looking for a green color to express yourself with your controller, this one will be available for $64.99 beginning on March 27th on most markets worldwide. And the second one is a Daystrike Camo Special Edition. This one has the red and black kind of camo that's on the controller. This one is $69.99 and starting at May 4th. So more controllers, more fun that way. I know a lot of people like since they have stopped their custom labs for their controllers, because it was for their old ones. So obviously I know they're updating it so the people can customize more for their new ones, but they're just sending these ones out for now. So these are with the new controllers for the new hardware, new capabilities than the old ones. So, and that is actually all the gaming news that I do have. So, Caleb, do you have some gaming news that you want to talk about?
I do. I have 2 items of gaming news, listener. These are going to go real fast. So the first one is going to go real fast because I don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to mention it anyways because based on past experience, you, listener, may very much want to hear about it. So, Niantic and Nintendo have announced that they are working on another game together. You may be familiar with such hits as Pokemon Go, and that's it. But it was a hit. Holy crap. People almost died over it. People actually found some dead bodies because they were exploring the woods looking for mankeys or whatever.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my gosh.
Niantic and Nintendo have announced that they're working on an augmented reality geolocated based Pikmin game. I'm not super familiar with the Pikmin franchise outside of Smash Bros. Let's be honest. I know that you've got the one little dude, space astronaut creature thing that is on a planet with a whole bunch of little plant creatures that he's harvesting and doing puzzles and platforming with. I think that's what the game is about. I'm not sure. I can only assume that in this game, you are taking the place of the little astronaut dude, and you are going to be going around the world harvesting and grabbing Pikmin and maybe doing some augmented reality puzzles or platforming with them. Who knows? It'll be something like that. They haven't given us a whole lot of detail on exactly what it's going to look like, but we are expecting it to launch later in 2021.
Interesting.
All right. And this, I said I didn't have any Apple news, but I do have one piece of kind of Apple adjacent news, but it's gaming news. So this is really interesting, listener. Okay. You excited for this? The Steam Link app has landed on the Mac App Store.
Hey.
So what's interesting about that is that, the Steam Link app is what you use for in-home streaming on your phone or your tablet or your TV or whatever to stream games from your gaming PC onto a mobile device or a TV or something like that. Works pretty well. It's a decent app. I like it. Putting the Steam Link app on the Mac doesn't make a ton of sense because you can just download Steam on the Mac and then do in-home streaming through Steam. Like, that functionality is built into the Steam client. So you can just download it and play the games that are not playable on a Mac from your PC, stream to your Mac. That's always been an option. I've totally done it before. So why are they putting the Steam Link app in the Mac App Store? I think that really the only reason is because this app is like 28 megabytes and Steam itself is well over 100. That's all I can think of is a size difference. I don't know. It's the weirdest piece of news. I saw that land and I was like, oh, hey, that's kind of not. Wait a second. You've always been able to stream these games to Macs via Steam. Like, that's not new functionality. It's not really adding a new feature set either, because if you launch Steam in the big picture mode, then like it's a really controller friendly interface and it feels very much like a Steam Link app anyways. So if you have your PC on and your Steam is on your Mac and you launch it in big picture mode, then it's basically the Steam Link app. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make a ton of sense other than just the difference in the size of the app. And maybe people that have the 128 gig Macs are just like, no, I just really need a smaller app, please.
Does it have something to do with the M1 Max?
I mean, it is available on the M1 Max.
That's what I mean. Can you download regular Steam on an M1?
I mean, you can download everything on an M1, but I do believe, like, I get what you're saying. Yes, from what I understand, the Steam Link app is optimized for M1 Max. So it's available on Intel Macs as well, but they have an M1 version, an ARM-based version that is basically just the iPad app probably ported over, that will work with the M1 Max natively. Now, I don't think Steam has an M1 native version yet, which means that if you were in-home streaming via the Steam app on your M1 Mac, then you were doing it via Rosetta 2. But from what I understand, Rosetta 2's emulation is so good, you probably weren't noticing a difference given it's not actually playing the games. It's just streaming. Like, so I'll bet you in terms of functionality, there's not that much difference. And maybe it is just a size thing. I don't know. Maybe it's more lightweight. Maybe it doesn't use as many system resources. Maybe it actually is a better streaming experience. I suppose I should probably test that. But there you go, listener. If you have a Mac and you want to stream games from a PC in your same house to that Mac, you don't have to download Steam to do it anymore. You can get the Steam Link app from the Mac App Store. So, and that's all my gaming news.
Awesome. I actually wonder, now you have me curious. Might have to look up some videos or something on that Steam Link thing.
I mean, I could download it right now and like see, but I'd actually also have to download Steam. I haven't installed Steam on my Mac because it's a Mac. I play games on the computer over here.
Yeah. Be interesting. Science. Do it.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, Landon. Do you have anything in gaming that you want to talk about?
I do not.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess that's the end of our episode, dear listener. Thank you again for sticking with us all the way through. And if you want to get a hold of us, you can on any of our social media platforms, as well as callingallplatforms.com. If you want to see any pretty cool or any awesome videos, you can get onto our Calling All Platforms on YouTube channel, Calling All Platforms Tech and Calling All Platforms Gaming. You can hop on there and take a look at some of those videos. All right, dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.